Welcome to Player Voices. I'm AJ Merriman. I'm here with Antoine Davis, James Pollard, Ken Porter, and Nate Little. Tonight, we're going to talk about being Black in Ultimate. Hopefully this can add to your perspective, give you some insight, and entertain you, because this is a real inside look at a conversation between Black Ultimate players. Let's go ahead and meet our panelists a little bit more. Ken Porter, you want to introduce yourself first?
Hey everybody, I'm Ken Porter from Raleigh area. Grew up in the Raleigh area, played at NC State. Went on to play with a couple of AUDL teams, Detroit Mechanix and Charlotte Express. Played a couple. It's been fun playing a lot of Ultimate. Now I'm coaching at Davidson.
Awesome, thank you. James?
Hi, James Pollard, player for the Philadelphia Phoenix. I played at Philadelphia University for 4 years. Was actually a varsity tennis player most of the whole time I was there. And current VII brand ambassador. Happy to be here. Ready to get some insight into being Black in Ultimate.
Awesome. Nate Little.
Hi, my name is Nate. I'm rookie for the Philadelphia Phoenix. Played at Science Leadership Academy in high school, Ultimate Frisbee, and for the Philadelphia Citywide in Adelphos, part of the Philly Open program for the club division. Also part of the ambassador program as well, and excited to get an inside look of what it's like being Black in Ultimate.
Awesome. I'm AJ Merriman, real quick. I have played for 2 years technically now in the AUDL for the DC Breeze, and I play for the Bethesda Watchdogs and Club Ultimate. All right, Antoine.
Hey y'all, my name is Antoine Davis. Currently play for the Atlanta Hustle. Been playing Ultimate for 13 years, 5 of them in the league, I believe. And we're really excited to be here and express my voice.
Let's go. That's awesome. All right, Antoine, we're going to start with a clip from you. Your first clip playing for San Francisco. Walk us through this clip as we watch it, all right?
For sure.
Good pressure from San Francisco.
Oh yeah, this game they really hyped me up a lot in the game. I had like a little highlight show in the beginning of the game, and this was kind of like my coming out party. In 2017, yeah, that year was really no one knew of me, but people who have seen me play knew I had a lot of potential. And this game was really just I just went off. I was dunking on people left and right, throwing balls and getting deep.
That's awesome. You often look for plays like this to set the tone?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, 2 people on you, bro. Like one on your back, one in front of you. Especially the one in front likes to, be a little touchy sometimes. Oh man, I love these plays. I live for these plays.
Did the ref say something to you? Because you stopped celebrating for a second. Like, did he say you need to stop disrespecting these players that way? Like, what was up with that?
You can't be scoring like that anymore. No, he was as I was yelling, he thought I was I believe saying the curse word or something, but it got straightened out after.
That's good.
Say again?
But did you say a curse word?
No, I didn't.
Oh, of course not. For the kids.
Clean soul.
Of course. Whew, that is crazy. You be getting up like that. I feel like that's a theme with this group. We got some high flyers.
Yeah,
Ken Porter is known for putting it on some people's heads. You got some plays. We got some plays to check out here, Ken. I'm feeling. Look, I told we were gonna wait. I need these college highlights from Ken. Luke, can you give us Ken Porter's 11th clip? I have to get right into it. We got to talk about it for the culture.
Y'all don't mind the resolution. Different times.
To have film from this many games, I feel like that's a big thing. Not a lot of players have that opportunity. Talk about what's going on in this.
This was Queen City 2. Former teammate there, Jarrett Bowen. Sorry, buddy. That was when we were playing against you. This is also Wilmington, but regionals. Right there. It is. This is probably regionals. I think that's Tennessee. a little poach off the back to stop a goal.
Or your knees at people's shoulders?
Sometimes. This one's kind of fun. Actually, so Luke, I'm going to hype myself real quick. Can you pause it? So this is against Luther at College Nationals in 09. I actually made it on the side of the NC State, like the school buses with this picture.
Oh, wow. That's big.
Yeah, so somewhere right there. I got my buddy Brandon Jones up there on my hip. Here's the fun thing about this call. The play, it got called back. No D.
Oh. What?
I don't know if you can see it. Look real close, but Brandon is giving this guy a real good hug.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
So it was fun, but it didn't count.
Oh.
Here it is. He got him in a headlock on the ground.
Is this your game, Ken? Is this?
My God.
Is this?
Yeah, Colorado. This was that's Mac Taylor right there, and a layout hand block on a hook.
That's crazy. This is just insane stuff. And I know I hadn't seen this until like prepping for this. Like,
Yeah.
why is that? Where are these highlights at?
And we didn't. Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
They're out here now. For sure. This is ridiculous stuff. Look at this. This is just back to the beginning. All right.
I got a question for you about this.
Yeah.
Like most of these plays are really athletic plays, what seem like D-line player. What was your role for your team? Because like you tend to see a lot of black athletes in Ultimate get stuck to the D-line cutter role. Athleticism.
Yeah, I played 5 years at NC State, and I was on D I was primarily defense 4 of those 5 years. 09, so like Antoine said, you said 17 was your coming out party?
Yeah.
Yeah, 09 was that for me. I didn't realize it at the time, but like a lot of these people in the clips would eventually become teammates or people I'd play against on like the club scene. So I was just playing. I don't ever pay attention to who I'm playing against or whatever, but that's kind of that D-line mentality. And I was like, I was good at it, so I kept doing it. And then after this, kind of people realized, like, oh, we got to back this guy by 20 yards. So then they switched me to offense, and I became like the easy reset, kind of like what Bo is for whatever team he plays on. Most people are afraid of him, so they back him by a bunch. And they get easy underneath yards to turn and up.
Yep.
But James, yeah, no, I've been a D player, or I've preferred defense in every sport I've ever played. It's just a mentality thing for me.
That's a good point, and I think that does resonate with a lot of black players. James, you're a defensive player for sure. Luke, if you can pull up James' second clip, you seem like you're grinding out this niche in the AUDL with this pulling and then just big defender like spot. It's a role. It's a life for real. Like, talk to us about this.
I mean, I take pride in it, especially like pulling. I think it's an underrated aspect in Ultimate right now. So like my team trusts me. If I'm on the field, I'm pulling the disc. And then end of quarter situation. I mean, this is a tie game. They would have scored if I didn't get this right there. And I get that. We go to double overtime, which first team to score wins. Our O-line got the disc, marched it down the field, and we won. Like, I like the end of quarter. I like the pressure. Some of the Philly guys like to call me Big Game James because I tend to thrive under the pressure. Like tennis, you're out there by yourself. Like, someone can have match point, and you need to score 4 points in a row. Like, you just got to do it. There's nothing to it. Like, I just love that grind.
Would you say that's where this mentality came from? Did you gravitate to this because of your tennis background, your pressure background?
Maybe a little bit, but like going to a small D3 college where we'd have practice, we go to a tournament, and we'd be grateful to have 14. I remember the one day for like second day of regionals, we had 7. So like it was, I played deep in our zone, and we could only run zone or play deep, and just go to work on people. Just let people go 30 yards behind me, wait for a college handler to throw it deep, and just go make a play.
I gotta ask, when I play deep, do you crouch to get real low, try to hide behind people?
No, I tend to try to find a position though. Like I'll look at the handler, try to find a position where I might be blocked by someone or lean a little bit away from the side that they should be throwing to, just so they may not see me as they go to release the disc.
Right.
Until it's too late.
Antoine, I used to bait it though. I didn't have to crouch because I'm not as tall as any of you. Bait the deep shot.
Dude, speaking of big dudes, Nate.
Yes.
Nate.
The biggest dude is.
For real. Hey, Nate is 6'7", y'all. Can you pull up Nate's fifth clip?
6'7".
I think he's roofing somebody. We gotta get the roofs. Get them early. Nate, talk to us. What's happening?
I was just asking. I'll give you that. No, I'll give you that. Problem.
Oh, yeah, it's easy. So this is another one of the yeah, right there. I just wanted that one too, because we definitely came over. I saw one guy go deep, and then knowing one of the players who likes to hug, honestly, it's just a job instantly. Just get that D, help out my boy T9, which is right there next to me. But yeah, same as Ken, James, probably you, AJ. Like defense is just my core. I loved it. I played for every sport, in basketball and football. And transition to ultimate, it was kind of hard, just to chill on the aggression type, I guess. You know, and it is a spirited game. But, I mean, you learn to that, just learn. I just learned about the game, and yeah.
For real. Speaking of which, can we pull up your first clip of Nate and talk to me about like there's a call at the end of this clip, and you look a little upset. And my opinion, right?
Yeah, so I get a hand block here. That was the first thing. Yeah, transition, and instantly turn over. All right, fine. Get to do it again. That's basically like this is me. This particular.
I'm going to eat you.
And then we bumped heads. We literally bumped heads. And so I had no idea where. I just felt me catching this. I had no idea where the disc was. I just put my hand up there and he got it. But then when he called the foul, I don't think it was a foul, because I think I called it before we made contact. And although I shouldn't have gotten way too out of hand, but it was something that I was able to do move. But that's another thing I'm trying to develop more into, just being calm, and also just knowing when to just spaz out when it's needed off of a BS call, I'll say.
Well, when you meet people look like children out here, so people get mad.
Nate, I gotta say it. This is every D line person's most hated thing. I grind, I get a D, never mind the first throw turnover. We turn it over shortly after that. First throw turn, I'm real mad, and then you go back and get the D anyway, which I thought was clean. Yeah, I played a different time. If you get there first, that wasn't a foul. It's different now, but I like to call these a pride foul.
For real.
Yeah, don't look too much at my clips, because you talking about being calm. Don't do what I did.
Nate, I have a question for you. I have a question for you about interactions, because you went to SLA, which, for the people who don't know, is predominantly black school, and your ultimate team was, I believe, all black players.
Whoa.
Which scene have you gotten worse interactions in? Because we've talked about this before, players saying racist stuff, and I know you have one real bad game. So is it worse in high school or club, AUDL?
I would definitely say it was definitely worse in high school. I feel like transition from college and to professional league, you should be at a little maturity, which there was. I feel like, but high school, I definitely feel like there was definitely some discriminations. There was definitely tournaments we went to. It was predominantly white. We just try to be ourselves, just cope with what we like to do. Even not even on the field, when on the sideline, we like to bump to some music a little bit. We just saw, the snare, the remarks and, the looks, and we didn't really appreciate much. And that just kind of took a heavy toll on me, going into continuing the game of Ultimate. Just going to continue like this, maybe I do want to play, don't want to play. Like, it's just like a 50-50 ball. But from there, you just, I guess, just got to learn to just share it among other people who probably, like, won't know. Try to get them to understand. I mean, that's why we're doing this now, right? It's just basically just, like, getting your voices heard. I think that's the main thing we do, especially for people who come playing this game. Maybe people don't know and understand.
Makes sense. Do you all feel it's different interacting with Black Ultimate players versus any other Ultimate player, like between discussing calls and sideline interactions and just anything? Like, how do you all feel about that?
I remember going so certainly yes, and I remember going to like Frisbee parties or events just like outside of the game, and it's almost like when you see another colored player, you just give like a little head nod to them. It's like automatic. It's not like subconscious. Like a sense of like communication, like unconscious communication of like, "What's up?" Like I kind of know you already.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Antoine, I explained it like it's people that drive Jeeps, right? Or motorcycles. They don't know each other, but they will always wave at each other. That's what it's like.
Yeah,
For sure.
which I guess that's the one good thing. Not even just being Black and Ultimate, just Ultimate in general for the most part. Like, it's one of the few sports where if you go to another state, like far away, and say you play Ultimate, you can find someone to stay with, like that would just offer up a couch for you. Like, yo, I play Ultimate. I'm here for this tournament. Like, they're like, oh, cool. Like, I'm playing too. Like, you can stay at our house. You can have our couch. Like, that's definitely something in Ultimate. But then, especially with other Black players, like you see them, it's like, yeah, like there's definitely like that head nod, or just like that sense of like we're friends already, even though we don't know each other, because there's so few of us.
Can we see Ken's 10th clip? And Ken, do you just want to talk about your relationship with Jakeem Polk and maybe being closer than just a head nod with another Black player?
Yeah, that's my guy. Jock was this football. So Jock was a defensive back, which is also a position I played. So like he was pretty new to playing Ultimate when he joined the Express, and then eventually went and played Ring. But like the way that most coaches explain Ultimate to players didn't work for like, so y'all understand, like when the first time y'all started playing Ultimate, especially like on the deep cut, like timing, all the different things, they don't work if you have a different skill set or different athleticism than most of the people in the game.
Right.
So at this point, all of my teammates would have called me Wash. I thought I had some in the tank still. But like I basically was like mentoring Jock the way that I wasn't able to be mentored when I was starting to play. Like I still had some people in my life that were helping out when I was learning to play Ultimate. But I was so thankful for the few that I did have that I wanted to make sure that Jock had that person. And I still remember, like, I could name every Black player I've ever played with on every team for the most part. It's not because I specifically remember them or like that they did something memorable. It's just that there were so few of us. It's easier to remember those guys. Yeah,
that makes sense. Can we talk more about how Ultimate is taught to youth? Because I feel like especially Black players coming from other sports where you have like Nate spoke about, like some more aggression and different timing, different skill sets. Like, are there things that like didn't click for you guys until like years in? I know personally, I didn't. The playing defense, the break side and the open side, it took like 5 years for me to figure out what was going on with the break side and the open side. And then as soon as I knew I could just be like 100% aggressive on the open side and then let the break side go, like, you know, the game changed for me. So do you guys have anything like that?
Yeah, I would say for me, it was definitely more force middle, especially in high school. I just had no idea what the heck I was supposed to do. I understand it, like just being just like right in the middle. I didn't understand like how to do that, like the fundamentals of actually like forcing it back to the middle. But I understand like the mark, I had to change it up, force the throw to go back right into the center of the apex. But I don't know. One of those things is just something I just didn't really understand it here, but.
Yeah, Nate, there's a reason I don't coach force middle. Man, it's confusing for everybody.
I know I struggled with like the transition from a small college to club, because like we weren't able to run person defense just because of the talent we had. We had like 4 guys that could do it, so we always ran zone, or like I would play super poachy. So like having to switch like every season to the end of like for club was just like I'd always be super slow, just like oh I'll give you the under, like put a good mark on.
For sure. That's
For me, it's only really happened in the last 2 seasons really, where I like felt like I had like my football and basketball swagger fully enact. And it's really because I forgot that like in all those sports I used to talk a lot, and like talk smack, and I definitely in Frisbee I don't talk aggressively as I used to in basketball and football, but I always spin it in ways where you kind of know what I'm talking about. So I always talk in a way where it's encouraging words about my team, but it'll be like, oh, that point was looking real easy, boys, or like, oh wow, that only took 4 throws to score this time, something like that. So it wasn't until the last 2 years I felt I brought my swagger.
that last point you brought up, I think is a big thing in Ultimate, like with your trash talk and how you can use it. Like as long as you're hyping your team up, at least in my eyes, that's a fair game. But I do know that a lot of Ultimate players can get rubbed the wrong way. KP, we're going to keep coming back to you. Can we see your 4th clip? Because you put somebody in the dirt real quick.
Then we gotta go with one of your clips, AJ.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Ooh.
And then right to the kick spike.
Look at that. So much height on that kick spike.
See, and I love that.
Being blind, diving backwards.
Yeah, that's a great play to me, and that kick spike would get me hype. I'd be running off the sideline, but I know, in some, especially I feel like that's more regional. Some parts of the country, a team would be very upset with that.
So I got to explain my history with kick spike. So I'm sure you guys saw it because I shared it with you, but if you look at like a lot of my past clips, when I'm trying to get myself or my team hyped, that's what I go to. I don't do kick spike all the time, but the backstory for that, Antoine, kind of falls into what you were talking about with the trash talk. We were in a tournament in Charleston, and kind of like the pride foul. I got a pride foul called on me several times by the same person making the same play, and I just kind of got fed up with it. So on the 3rd attempt, where I called 3 straight fouls, I kept throwing it. On the 4th one, I caught it, and I didn't think about it. The kick spike happened. It was like I don't know where it came from, like an out of body experience. And then from that moment, I think that's like my sophomore year. Like every time I'm trying to get myself and my teammates hyped, that's what I go to. From coming from other sports back, I've never minded being physical. Even if if somebody's being physical to me or the other way, it doesn't bother me. That kick spike was kind of like you said, Antoine. That was meant for me and my teammates. And if you felt disrespect for it, I'm sorry. It was not the intent. But it's also still aggressive.
That's a good point. All right.
Can we keep this train rolling? Can we go to AJ's 6th, 7th, and 8th clip? Because this one's spicy. To say
I think that's 3 now, but for sure, yeah, that's what I was thinking too. This was an experience to be on the field for. I was loving it. I was having a ton of fun. So what happens is my teammate, the great Matt Cullum, comes down with the buzzer beater here, and then a legend, I can't remember his name, but he's some real good Frisbee player, pulls on the disc after Matt Cullum secures it. And so Matt yelled at him while he was laying on the ground, and he thought it was fun because he's beyond that. He was just having fun. But Matt Cullum was definitely a little heated, and some other Empire players were too. So they came over to talk to Matt immediately afterwards. And again, Bo just got up and started laughing and walked away. It wasn't no big deal, but as you can see, some other people were not vibing. And this was my very first professional game. I had no idea what was going on. I was barely 18. I walked over like, "Hey, we're all grown men here. Let's just like continue with the game," because that's normal to me. Like from playing football and basketball, like somebody got yelled at, and he did something that got him yelled at. Like he knew, everybody knew, but I don't know. It's just different, I guess.
But if one of us did that, there would have been. Ooh,
That's a problem.
We probably gotten a penalty for it. We kicked out the game, something.
Do we have cards in AUDL?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, that's a card, I feel like, for a black player. For sure. And like just expressing emotion in any way, like that's like over the top, I feel like it always, like, at least in my head, I'm like thinking about it. I know I love the kick spike. The kick spike's my favorite thing to do after I score, to hype my teammates up. But even now I use it like low key. I do little kick spikes just because the other team isn't vibing with it, and it gets me hyped, but it's just under the radar enough that it's perfect. It's my spot.
I want to say I've only gone at another team once with a spike. But I remember it vividly. It was Chapel Hill, so I played at NC State. I still remember the guy it was. But he had spiked literally on a teammate the point before that. So I was like, oh, that's how we're gonna play.
No bueno.
He was also my matchup, so I was always guarding him. He was always guarding me. It was a switch or the coach or something like that. But scored on him the next point, and like real subtle, just dropped it and hit him with one of these. I think it went fine. We went on to win the game. His teammates were upset about it, but they stayed on their sideline. But yeah, I don't know.
Look, y'all. So talking about matchups with other black players is the best. When you get to like go at somebody. Can we pull up Nate's 10th clip?
Don't do it to yourself. Don't do it to yourself.
we had been going at each other a little bit. I have to say, I was trying my very best to score on Nate in this clip, and so it might have resulted in a double cut that Nate took full advantage of.
Nate!
It's small in this clip.
Yeah. I don't know who that is.
I don't really know what to tell you. Just two guys was going to the same direction. Then there was a call about to be called, and it was still continuing to play. I was like, all right, looks like it's got to follow and make a play here. Because it's either I don't get it or I try to get it. But either way, it's going to go back. That's probably what happens. But apparently, I did get it. Still, it was a whole turn. And then basically, I don't know if it shows more here, but driving it up afterwards to get a score after this D. It was just like, where my adrenaline came from. I was like, oh my God. Bringing this shit to the next level of ultimate.
Like, based on those screens, you definitely got your team hyped for that one.
Yeah. Nate, you still in college?
I am. That's it.
How many years of eligibility you got left?
I haven't even played in college at all.
Oh my God!
Look, it's ridiculous. I'm shameless with my recruiting.
You got to be. That's the only way to do it.
Nate's about to be somebody's cheat code.
Yeah, come to
I got a spot for you, man.
Hey, Coach at Penn. Come to Penn.
I'm not tuition. I mean, sure.
Ooh.
Hey, sneak into these different. What are y'all's feelings about, like, what does it mean to, and is it different to play as a black player in club versus college versus the AUDL? And is one more inclusive, more about the vibes, more for the culture? What do you guys think?
I think at AUDL, you get away with more things because it's refs and people's feelings get hurt less because they don't really have power. Mm-hmm. But like college and club and every other level, like the smallest thing can set someone off for no reason. Like I think pro is definitely, I like it a little bit better just because you can show more personality and not have to worry about backlash every single time.
I agree. Antoine, you've played a lot of high-level club. What are your thoughts on this?
I was trying to think and about the main difference. And honestly, in club, it a lot of times it feels more isolating because usually pro teams have like a handful of black players. I believe almost all pro teams have a handful of black players, and that's never the case with club teams, even the elite club teams, especially the elite club teams. So, yeah, I just realized that actually.
That's great. For sure, I feel like playing in the AUDL, you can express yourself a little bit more. You can get away with more spikes, more being loud. Nobody tells me to turn my music off on the sideline of AUDL games, but club teams, I've gotten my music turned off because the team's too white, but I'm on the aux playing the music.
You play music on a AUDL sideline?
Warm-ups, yeah.
Oh, warm-ups. Okay.
Yeah, not during the game. Yeah, but for sure.
Come back right now.
Yeah, come to DC. We got spots. For sure.
Yeah, I would say like when you get to the AUDL level, I don't know, man. I'm just so in my head, and I don't ever really think about anybody else. But like if I see another black player in the AUDL level, I'm gonna assume like it's the same thing that people do to us all the time. Like I'm gonna assume this guy's well rounded because he's made it this far. Like when you play in college, high school, club, if you see a black guy, like what's the first assumption somebody's gonna make?
Deep cutter.
Deep cutter. Or like even at club level, like they might. I'm old, so things went a little differently. But like, oh, we'll match you two up, see whose black player is better. Like, it's different. Like I was on a call the other day for Ultimate and like talking about what co-ed names used to be acceptable. Like just, it was a different time. Fortunately, I always came out on top on those little matchups there. But like I think that's the difference where you get to the ADL level. Like it's like, oh, I gotta, unless you've scouted, like you assume this guy can do everything.
Mm-hmm.
Can we get KP's third clip? Can you kind of tie that in?
Yes, that's a great.
Because going off what you say, like it's rare to see like black players known for throws. Like you got to be, and then just let it fly. Like, most of the time you see highlights of us, it's for like that clip you had earlier, just the sick, crazy, athletic plays, not necessarily our throwing ability.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a funny. Like I always hated playing the Flyers because those are like all my club teammates.
Everybody does something playing them.
Yeah. But it was also like I didn't have to scout as hard because like I know. So Brian Casey threw it to Justin Allen, and I know that Justin Allen's going to look for the okie doke because he does it on every that's what he does in every practice I've ever played with him. So like I'm not going to go tight on the mark there like I would normally. I'm going to bounce off, especially because of BC going up line, who I try to avoid when I went up because BC and I've collided a lot, and he always comes out on about the negative end. But then Dylan Welchman here, former teammate, and then we coached together at Davidson for a little bit. Dave was also my coach. Dave was guarding him, but I was very confident that Dylan could beat him in a race. So I threw it as far as I could.
With some touch.
Yeah, a little bit of touch.
Yeah. That's the throw. That's Antoine. I feel like your throwing has improved a lot just over the course of your career. Can you talk a little bit about being a great black thrower?
Yeah. I was really lucky early on to have a really just awesome coach in the beginning of my career, which was Will Smolensky, and who was a former DC Breeze coach at MLU, right? What was it called?
Current. DC Current.
DC Current, yeah, there you go, DC. And he knew my aspirations, becoming one of the best players in the sport. And he said, you have to learn, like, you have to up your throw. Your defense ability, like in high school, he said your athletic ability is already at the elite level. you have to work on your throws. And that from that day, there's rarely a practice I don't show up 30 minutes early to go throw at least. Last 2 years has been an hour before practice.
Antoine, you said something that I resonated with. You said your aspirations were what?
To be one of the best.
Just in general, not the best minority, not the best black guy.
No.
Yeah,
the best.
I like that.
That's big. That's big for sure.
It's also big to see other people that look like you that have done it. I'm gonna brag on my big brother real quick. Tuba was that guy for me. Like Tuba, when I met Tuba, he was a massive man, massive man. But one of the seniors introduced him as like, "Hey, this is the best black player in Ultimate." And I was like, "Cool, I'm coming for him." I said that without meeting him and then getting afraid of him. But yeah, like a black player in Ultimate story. We were playing UNC Chapel Hill made it to nationals that year. We didn't. So Ring invited us all out for a scrimmage because we were going to try to get UNC ready. And I was like, "Oh, let me take another opportunity to beat up on these guys." And like I was kind of like shyly trying to meet Tuba because I was like, I keep hearing about this guy, but I had never actually talked to him. I was just afraid of him. So I like snuck up next to him, standing next to him, and somebody came up and said, "Hey man, is that your big brother?" Like they just assumed we were related. And I was upset about it. I was like, "No, man, I'm trying to talk to him. I don't even know this guy." But he's become my big brother now. So like it's cool to have those high aspirations, but also cool to have, all these people that have come before us that have done it at a high level to look up to.
For sure. I wouldn't have been as into throwing and as like dedicated to my like improving my throws if I hadn't been watching Trent Dillon like when I was young, because he had the sky you and then throw a huck. Like he had it on point, and it's good to have representation. It's good to know like this is a style that you can go after. So speaking of styles, how do y'all think about your game and like fine tuning your game and having a niche? We've talked about James, you got the 3-and-D kind of vibes with the pulling and just the big defensive stopper. I'm all about defensive intensity and scoring. Talk to me about that. What goes into that?
I mean, I just think it was a lot of it's done from college, from just like being a deep. Just that was my position, and I excelled at it. So like, I feel like that's one thing we have to do a lot, especially if we're a black player like coming up. It's like we already stick out because we're a minority, but then we have to find another way to stick out when we get to the field. Because I mean, if you look at it, when you go to a club tryout and a team's like looking to add players, most of the time, O-line's filled because they just put their vets. They're supposed to be the most experienced, so they don't even really try out anyone for offense. It's just, oh, you're new, you're probably going to be on defense. So I guess that helps in a way, kind of steer me in that direction.
So Antoine, I guess you're the only real O-line guy here. Can you talk a little bit about how you get over to the O-line? Like, what's that like?
Dude, I love it. It's so much easier. I do enjoy when we do turn it over. Because of my background as a defensive player. But yeah, it was because Revolver saw early on, and my last year in my DC mixed team, they was like, wait, why are we not using the most athletic player to score goals? That doesn't make any sense. Offense like wins games, right? So like if you're scoring 90% of the time, there's very rarely you're going to lose a game. That's kind of the Revolver way. And they saw that I was a good D person, especially when Bo left. I basically had to pick up
pick up his shoes and run with them. And luckily, I do have a backhand. I can't break the mark. And so that filled in real nice. And it was funny because all of a sudden, when I got switched on to the O-line, I didn't think it would happen this fast, but a lot of trust was given to me, like, because they just see me put in the time, put in the work, and producing at practice. And by the World, so we had Worlds that year. I only had two months to learn the revolver offense, and they would put me on the starting 7 all the time. It was like a really big honor. Yeah,
That's big. I have to disagree with you. I think that the defense is where it's at. If you convert all your breaks, then you win the game.
I mean, if you look at the stats, that's not true. I'm just saying the stats.
Yeah, but if you watch the games,
I mean, me and Nate for club last year, like our O-line would struggle at regionals for some of those games, and then they scored, and then we'd rally off 7 breaks to put the game away.
I'm saying the team that has won a bunch of championships.
Oh, here he goes.
We're talking about rings here. We're talking about rings.
I mean, me and AJ were talking about this a month ago. When we start coaching together, it's I would make my O-line just good enough to convert, like you said, 80 to 90% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
I'd stack my defense.
So that's really, I mean, I don't see how you don't do that without putting your best players on offense.
I think it depends on the level you're at. If you've got the ability to have extra bodies to score 90%, then do that. But if you every team's gonna be able to get a D on most teams at some point.
Right.
But if it's just you get one opportunity and you convert that to a break, then offense doesn't really win you all those games. It's your D-line's offense. But I mean, you can pin it either way. Hey, AJ, though, talking about style, I think it's your clip number 2. Let me check real quick. I think it's, let me see. Yeah, I think it's clip. No, we just watched clip 2. I think it's clip 2. Is it 3?
Montreal. Montreal. Yeah.
No, not Montreal. It's Empire. So it might be 3. I might have written the wrong number down.
Might be.
Let me look up real quick. Sorry.
What happens in the clip?
You're playing the Empire. You're guarding Bo, and you get a D.
Clip number 1.
Oh, the look back?
Yeah, that's
this was my chance to disrespect Bo because it's a late quarter situation, and he wanted the disc for some reason, he was going to throw it somewhere. So I just gave him all the under, and was able to poach off.
This guy. I'm gonna tie this back to your question though. You're talking about style. Wait till this guy in the frame. He's one of 2 players on the entire field with an actual long sleeve jersey. He's got the matching leggings and a headband. So I think style means something different to you.
It's important. You gotta look good to feel good, to play good.
Yeah.
Okay.
And turf hurts. I don't know how y'all be laying out with short sleeves on. That's ridiculous. I got too many tattoos. I can't be messing up too.
You have, big arms and guns you want to show off. You can't, you want to flex a little.
I don't got that.
If we're talking style,
I'm just saying the reason why we do it.
AJ, here's my part 2 of this question.
Yes, sir.
Toughest matchup or toughest assignment you got? Oh, wait. Hold on. Pause for a look back. There it is.
The look back.
You don't want to know why I look back? It was somebody said something about a call, and we got refs. So I just gave him a look. I was not having it. People. That's a good point. So my toughest matchup, I would say, that I got roasted by all the time was Ben Yacht, but guarding Jack Williams was probably the most impossible thing that I did. I didn't guard him as much, but when I did, I was just hanging out wherever he was going on the field because it's just impossible to guard him the way he plays and the style he plays with, and I don't know, Jack Williams is just something different. that's mine. I don't think anybody's used him as well as they could have yet. I know he was a little boxed in the Empire offense. He could have put up crazy numbers if he was like the guy on that offense. But Jack Williams is just something different.
If you want to see what he looks like with full green light, check out his Wilmington clips.
For real. Jack Williams was one of the first coaches I ever had at Cut Camp in 2017, I think. Yeah. I'm a New York, North Carolina Ultimate player at heart, low key.
How you going to respecting DC? We're both DC boys. How you going to be doing that?
DC boy. That's why I want my chip in DC. If we want to pull up clip number 4, talk about me throwing a little bit, winning some championships.
Butterflies in the stomach as the pull goes up.
Oh yeah, youth championships. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Little boy championships. Definitely stressful though. Like being at my first like big tournament, and just
pulled up by Price.
as a player that plays differently than a lot of people, like it was interesting to like see like a ton of people playing differently, like at a tournament for the first time, like on a larger scale. Watching PD is definitely something special.
What's some of y'all do to help you out in those high stress moments?
Just play around with the boys. We were freestyling on the sidelines all the time. Ben Priest, he can spit for days. Just hanging out for real. We had a huge sense of community on that team. And at the beginning of the season on that team, we were probably the least connected that we could possibly be. We mostly hated each other from a bunch of different areas in Northern Virginia, DC, and Maryland. And we've been playing against each other for years. And we came together to just vibe and like understand each other and our differences. And it worked out well. I'd say we were not the most skilled team at that tournament, but we came out on top, so worked out.
It's all about chemistry.
For sure, all about chemistry. Nate, I need some clips from Nate. Dude. You score so much. I've got so many clips of you scoring here. Give me clip number 9. Getting on the ground a little bit.
Scores and hand blocks.
Oh yeah.
For real. Scoring. Wait, talk to us about being big. How do you use being big?
Bert gets the in cut.
Oh yeah.
Really gets the in cut. Nate, long arms, snags it.
Oh yeah. I'm talking like, especially like when teams I just like to just be in the space a little bit, trying to create something. You know, there's nothing there, and I just clear out. But just actively just looking where this is and knowing the position you want to be in. You know, and being aware of like how the disc is moving. It's just key to just like, I don't know, getting open. You know, getting the touches, getting the scores, stuff. So it's really just awareness. I sort of get that in football a lot too. Just like knowing, like conscientious as well. Like you gotta have eyes in the back of your head, especially playing football. Because not only you just like you're looking at the person. Because I was a pointer back. When you look at the person, you also gotta look back to where the ball was. So just having that and like transition to another sport and using that skill, it's just like does wonders for you outside. So
Look how big it is. He gets on the ground.
Oh yeah, no, dude.
You were not too. Get this already.
I have to feel on the ground right now.
Look at this, man. Didn't you tell me?
No, I get that. I still get that from Joel Embiid because dude's literally 7 foot, could easily injure himself, but he would just lay out for anything. I'm just like, all right, you can do it. I can do it too. Like, I have no excuse. So, yeah.
That's KP. Can we see KP's 8th clip? You're talking about different sports coming from football and like working with space and your personal spacing. KP, this next clip is you had a ton of space and then you threw the disc to a ton of space. And I feel like we can all talk about using the field differently than like typical ultimate players, like coming from other sports. What do we got out in space?
Yeah, man, space is on offense. I don't know why I was left that alone, first off. Also, it would have been nice if I think Mike could do that. It'd been nice if he put a little bit extra on that so I could have scored. But yeah, man, space. You got like if you want to go on offense, you got to find the space and use it. Because like as all of us except for Antoine being defensive guys, that's our job. It's like we want to clog up the space or mask it somehow. So when you're playing offense, I tell my kids this all the time. If you see some green space, just get there fast and make some noise. Because that's what good offenses do. And I think that's Vic Roy there. Luckily, he was probably one of the smartest players on that team. But luckily, without having to say anything to him, he knew where I wanted him to go. A little Shane there with the dance too.
Yeah, I think basketball also helps with that too. Coming from a basketball background, like that court's only been so big to have, especially like if you look at NBA players, those guys are huge. Like if you're able to figure out how to get passes, like the basketball through the lane when you've got a team running a zone, like moving to an ultimate field where the field's significantly bigger than the amount of people. I mean, it's just so much space.
Hey, that's Matt Bode.
For sure. Space in ultimate is the key. I feel like to opening up everything, offense and defense, is space. But speaking about getting black players into the sport, getting these people that understand space differently, if they're coming from a different sport, or recruiting players in general, whether they be black players or just athletes from different sports. What are y'all doing to get more black players into the sport?
The Atlanta Hustle and I are trying to create a HBCU team down here. We're trying to look at three of the schools around here, and with the help of one of our new owners, who has, I believe, 3 kids at Morehouse playing already. So we're gonna use that as a kind of base of foundation to grow a HBCU team. I think also the Flyers are doing something similar too.
That's awesome.
The Phoenix started a pass the disc initiative, where we collect donations or disc donations and we give them to like YMCA's in the inner city. And then, of course, that was started in 2020, and we weren't able to do the second half. But the second half was then we go in and provide lessons, like a coaching clinic, and then teach their coaches how to teach ultimate to the players. And then I believe the team is also doing something with having like free tickets to some schools, like SLA type of thing, for some of our games, and highlighting them at different games for this coming season.
Yeah, we do at Davidson, we do an all-campus pickup tournament. And it's really just meant to cast the big net in general. James, you probably get this for coming from a D3 school. We don't get players that come to our school. We don't get a lot of players come to our school that have already played Ultimate. So like, we're going to cast a big net to see who's interested in even playing Ultimate. And then I mentioned earlier, I'm shameless when it comes to recruiting. If I see an athlete on campus, which sometimes they look like us, like I'm going at them with full force. Oh, you play football? Nah, come on. Come play Ultimate. Unless I don't want anybody on the line. That's not really going to translate well. Yeah, but that, and then my work, I'm on the, I think we talked about it before, but I'm on the AI for the AUDL. So I'm not directly bringing in minorities, but I'm hopefully helping to pave the way so that more can get in there eventually.
For sure.
Yeah, I think one of my friends, Jay, she's a part of this Frisbee program called PATA, which is the Philadelphia Area Disc Alliance. But she's basically one of the ambassadors who has to create a project for the spring or summer. It's for a camp for a lot of kids who want to learn how to play Ultimate. And we're getting a lot of people based off from my high school in SLA, which is a very diverse school. We're going to get a lot of people of color to play Ultimate and come to the camp. Hopefully they can develop their game. They like it enough, hopefully they can play in college, hopefully in the big leagues as well. But we definitely just want to give them an opportunity because we don't really get as many as we would like compared to like a lot of other suburban schools out there, I'll say. So.
Yep. I'm always coaching everywhere I can, getting in places that are more diverse, into middle schools, get them early. If you can get kids playing ultimate frisbee early, they love it and they stick with it. From what I've seen, I've got hoodies. I'd be selling hoodies online and donating discs with the money. I'm in everywhere that I can be, and I'm trying to help. I'm trying to send some discs up to James for sure here soon. I've got a couple sitting in the room for sure.
Hey, real quick, speaking to James, can I talk to him about a clip? Can we do clip 7 for James? So James, you got a lot of trust throws from your teammates, which I feel like we probably all get at regardless. But this one's on a different level. So you were involved. I think we'll get to this here in a second. Yeah, that's me. Eventually, you get downfield and they throw it to you. But I want to talk about, like, what's your work ethic to be able to get teammates to trust you like this, and then not just to trust you enough to throw that, but then to get people like this. Hold on, where is he? There he is. Where?
So there's a lot that went into this play specifically. So this was Chesapeake Open 2018. It was my birthday. And the play starts with me checking in the disc. I caught an undercut, and the dude tackled me.
Oh.
And my sunglasses came off. So Nate can attest to this. Like, teammates know if you get me mad, I just go to another level. So that was one of those, is like, I was mad at this player, so he saw me just put it up there and knew I was going to come back with it.
That's a good trust, though. That's whoever that is. He did a good job knowing his teammate.
That's a great point, though, Ken. You do have to work hard to get that kind of hype. Like, you can't just be out here, throw the ball up, I got it. Like, you got to be grinding on the practice field before and after practice, and that's what leads to those like electric moments, because there's so much behind that. Like just what you said, James, that little story right there, and I'm sure there's even more from practice, and like, those are the best.
Speaking of that kind of trust, I'm gonna keep rolling with that theme. Nate, clip 1, and then can we pause this at like 10.5 seconds?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you see this, I'm gonna talk through the clip whenever it starts playing, but like, you see this in basketball. Like, Steph Curry does this, he'll throw up a shot and start walking away before it actually hits, because he put in that much work. He knows if it feels good, it's good to go. Swaggy P tried to do it with the Lakers a couple years ago. It didn't work out. But at 10.5 seconds, let me see. Is this the first one?
This is the first one that you talked about earlier.
Yeah.
I keep getting my numbers mixed up. Sorry, y'all.
It's okay.
Nate's clip. It's
what are you talking about? Is it the one where I'm at the line and it was a call because I was
it's an upline cut from Nate where he's cutting deep and his teammate knows it. And my man throws his hands up before Nate even attacks the disc. Sorry, I thought it was clip number 1. Let me check real quick.
Is it clip number 2?
maybe no. I was going to say probably number 2.
Yeah, it is 2. It is 2.
Yeah, okay.
Brings it around to Handler Wick. Handler Wick out to Witt.
Watch him in 10.5 seconds.
Puts it out.
Hands are up.
Little.
Oh.
That's a score.
That's a score. I don't know what y'all are doing, but I never had a teammate throw their hands up like we scored before I even started my approach on the disc. So big ups to y'all for grinding that hard where everybody knows.
Yeah.
It's still
Do you all think that you feel added pressure to work hard being a Black Ultimate player?
Honestly, I use that dark energy to just motivate the crap out of myself. I'm just I want to prove it 10 times more than other people with different skin colors. I think that's the reason why I put, not the sole reason, but a big factor of why I put the time that I do put into my training is I want to show the other people of color, especially the Black community, people with mixed backgrounds, that a person like you can be one of the best. if not be considered the best.
Hey, let me see clip number 3 from Antoine real quick. I don't mean to cut y'all off, but that's a being visible and showing people what you can do. Being right after LeBron James on SportsCenter. That's different.
I'll take a flamethrower.
That's so funny to me because when it went off, I saw my dude coach off, and I was like, I knew I had to do something. I think I yelled to my teammate, like, Canner, he's coming. But on that field, it always pops up like that. So, after a quarter of a second after Grant releases it, I knew it was just going to stay up there long enough for me to, make moves. And honestly, when I made that catch, it wasn't a big deal to me. I didn't think it was that cool. And then everybody was going nuts, like the whole sideline, the audience, and then our marketing person or whatever, she tweeted it out to SportsCenter, and I think that morning I got like 50 text messages from my friends saying like, "Yo, you were on SportsCenter."
Antoine, if you could be as good as you are at Frisbee at anything else in the world, what are you picking? Like good enough to be on SportsCenter, like that. Like what is that transition to anything else?
I probably pick basketball, either basketball or track. Yeah.
Like sprinting, like what event in track?
Oh, the 100. Yo, I used to be a beast in the 100.
Okay.
You
pretty tall 100 runner.
What about KP though? Can we get that? KP
Number 2. Okay. This is the vibe. This is the tone of this evening.
Like, where was this? What's the backstory here?
This is at Nationals in Sarasota, probably 09 stuff. That's when anything I ever did. This was Nationals was a 4-day thing then. So our first game was on Thursday. We played two games Thursday, 2 games Friday. And I think Saturday was maybe quarterfinals and semis. But we got knocked out in quarters, probably to Antoine's dumb team, or it was changed. So either way, that's on you, Antoine.
You're saying you were in a 4-6,
yeah,
after playing games not fresh.
After days of games.
After days of games not fresh. What is that?
Yeah, I didn't say it like that, but it's also not wrong.
Look, yes. Zoom in on the clock and everything. That's perfect. That's being fast is clutch.
Helps.
Attacking that space. Oh my goodness. All right, I want to circle back around real quick to something KP you mentioned earlier about working with the AUDL, the AII, and paving a way, creating new opportunities for players of color. And I feel like in the ultimate community, there's a lot of emphasis on equity and getting people opportunities. But then there's also a stigma towards professional ultimate. But in my eyes, they go hand in hand. And the more professional ultimate we have, the more opportunities we have for players of color and all players.
What's it like playing an All-Star game? They weren't doing that when I was in the league. I don't know.
Yeah, that was the very first one, and it was honestly one of the best experiences in my ultimate career. I would put it top 4 of ultimate experiences. And yeah, it was just like everything was open. It was no matter where. Wait, am I still here? Everything is frozen.
I see you.
Okay, just make sure. But yeah, everything was open, and even the clip of I forget which clip it is, but the one of me getting thrown open by Goose. Goose is looking at me, and I'm like, I point. If you see before the throw, I actually point for a big around, and because that was obvious space, I thought, and he just rifles it. Then Bo is already in motion. I'm just like, oh, I just have to get on my horse and, hope for the best. And I mean, Bo made up a lot of ground, but luckily I was able to two-hand it in there and somehow got in the end zone.
I've heard the guys that wear the same number as Goose don't take the easy route very often.
Say again?
I've heard the guys that wear the same number as Goose don't take the easy route.
Right.
Light flex.
All right, y'all. Let me wrap this up and ask y'all a question. What do y'all think? What do you wish that more people knew about Black Ultimate players, just in general, or yourself personally, if you can't think of anything broad?
We're here. We are out there. There are black Ultimate players out there, especially at the high level.
For sure. Nate, what do you got for me?
I'll say, yeah, there's definitely black players out there. Just want to gain opportunities without, any backlash, any discriminatory. I'll say, I just probably develop into, being who they wanted to be, just based off the choice you want to do without any conflictions. So.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
I'll go. Mine is simple. We can throw. That's it. We can do more than just the athletic stuff. I think in all of our clips, somebody was throwing a deep ball. And while we don't really do it all the time, maybe we don't do it all the time, maybe it's because we haven't really been given the option. I feel like I'm an anomaly a little bit. Like in college, I just straight up couldn't throw. But I was also never really afforded the space to throw because I'd have 4 dumps every time I caught the disc when I wasn't in the end zone. But yeah, that would be my thing. We can throw. Give us a chance. We'll figure it out. Handler KP.
Handler KP. Antoine, what do you got?
We most likely enjoy the game in different ways. That doesn't make it that doesn't make one way right or wrong. It's just different. And please just take the time. Honestly, just put the ego down and understand. Try to learn what you're perceiving as offensive. 99% of the time is not our intention.
Mm-hmm. That's good. I would say I'm right in the same lane as both Ken and Antoine. We're different than you might think, and it's good to understand that. So we wanna be throwing, we want to be playing, but we're complex, multifaceted, and the mental game is usually very, very there because Black people in America have to be on it mentally. You got to be sharp thinking. So I think in Ultimate that carries over.
Can I add another one before you close this out, AJ?
Yes, sir.
I would say be yourself. Don't let the predominantly white players say you have to be a certain way. Just be yourself and just be genuine.
Yeah. Be you. Be different. Go cop a hoodie. Thank y'all very much for coming out tonight. Yeah. Be different. Drink water. Signing off.
Love it.